Hello, welcome to today's yoga practice. Happy to announce that today is the 100th yoga video posting since this whole pandemic thing began. So that's very exciting. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. If this is your 100th time joining me, so happy to have you back. Today, you are going to need a yoga strap, belt. If you don't have one, you can grab a belt from your closet. You can use an old tie, even a scarf will do. And I always practice with a rolled up blanket or a rolled up towel. I sit on it to lift my hips. It helps me in so many ways to modify poses that some days you just feel a little bit tighter than others. Today's focus is the hips and the lower back, and I really hope you enjoy, relax, and settle in. Today, we are starting my favorite way to start a yoga class. Let's lie down on the mat. So before you lie down, just make sure that your yoga strap is within arm's reach. And then lower yourself all the way down. Get comfortable. Take a minute or two just to adjust. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. And then just slowly, lazily close your eyes. Bring all your attention to your breath. Rather than control your breath, just let your breath flow. Let it shift and change as it needs to, whether it deepens, whether it becomes a little bit faster. Follow your body's lead. Just sink into the earth below you. Trust the support that's there. You'll feel yourself soften. Now turn your hands palms down. So your thumbs are pointing in towards your hips. Palms, fingertips are connected to the mat. Just put enough energy in your hands that your fingers are spread wide and you can really connect to the ground below you through the entire fingers, the palms, the thumbs. Now keep that. Keep the energy in the hands. With your next breath in, just sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Keep the arms as long as you can. Open up through the elbows and bring the backs of your hands to the floor overhead. And as you exhale, slowly bring your hands back down beside your hips. Connect with the palms. Let's do that again. Inhaling, sweeping up and over until you feel your knuckles, the backs of your hands, graze the floor overhead. And exhale, bringing your hands back down beside your hips. Now, before you begin your next breath in, just take a second to just pause and let your hands feel heavy. Then take your breath in. Now do the same thing here with the hands overhead. Just pause for a half a second, let your hands feel heavy, feel the stretch on the sides of the body. Then exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Feel a full range of motion in the shoulders. Notice how much more challenging it is once you engage the hands and use the full length of your arms rather than softening through the elbows. When your hands come to rest this time, completely let go. Let go through the shoulders, the arms. Take a breath. Now bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. Get a good connection between the soles of the feet and the floor below. Spread your toes. Keep your toes spread wide so the toes are lifting off the mat. Hands turned down, palms, fingers connected to the floor for support. And just roll onto the edges of your feet as you let your knees sway from side to side. Swaying just enough to feel a warm up into the hip and a little bit of a stretch in the lower back. Just gentle stretching. Keep the toes spread wide to keep the soles of the feet strong, keeping the ankles strong, rather than rolling and stretching the ankles, stretching out through all the ligaments there. Just feel the massage going across the back of the hips. Feels so good. Bring your knees back to center. Relax your feet. Now wiggle your feet in towards each other so you can feel the balls of the big toes touching and the inner heels touching. Now cross your right ankle to your left knee. Spread your toes on your right ankle, right foot, and just use the spot where your ankle is connected to your knee. That's your leverage spot to help you push your right knee away from you. Now take your left hand, place it on your left hip. Get a sense whether or not your hips are level. And just use your left hand to level out your hips. Now take your right hand, place it on your right thigh, keeping the hips level with your next breath out. Just gently press into your right thigh. Keeping the hips level. This is key here. So we often cheat a little bit. It's just human nature because your mind focuses on the right leg and not the left hip. So when we gently press on your right thigh, there's a habit to swing the hips so the right hip is lower, farther away than the left. Keep the hips level. And it's a subtle change into the stretch in the right hip and the right thigh. What a difference mindfulness can make. Awareness. Now release. Release your hands and bring your right foot to the floor. Right foot to the center. You kind of feel like it's in line with your belly button. Spread your toes on your left foot. Left ankle comes to your right knee. Use your left ankle on your knee as your leverage spot to just use your muscle energy and push your left knee forward, away from you. Right hand on your hip. Get a sense whether or not your hips are level. If the right hip feels like it's up closer towards your rib cage, level it out. Then use your right hand as a gentle reminder to keep the right hip in place. It's just as important as the left leg. Left hand comes to the left thigh. And as you exhale, just a gentle push away. Just gentle, just to feel a stretch into the hip. Keeping the hips level. Keeping the hips heavy. And then release. Now hug your right knee in towards your chest. You can hold the front of your right shin or hold the back of your right thigh, your right knee. And just pull your knee in towards your armpit. Get a sense that your right thigh is to the outside of your rib cage. You can feel the right side of the rib cage rubbing against your inner right thigh. Now spread your toes on your right foot. Spread your toes on your left foot. And just slowly push your left heel towards the top edge of your mat. Just until you feel the back of your left calf connecting to the mat. Keep the heel grounded. Push the left heel away from you and hug your right thigh in. Even bringing your right knee a little bit wider if that helps you get a little deeper into your hip joint. Breathe. Just let your shoulders feel heavy. Relax your jaw. No clenching of the jaw. Take one more breath here. Now bend your left knee, bring your left foot to the mat, release your right. Reach for the left knee. Again, you can hold the front of your shin or the back of your thigh. Bring your left knee as wide as your armpit so you can feel the inside of your left thigh snuggled up against the left side of your rib cage. Toes spread on your left foot, toes spread on your right foot. Now just push your right heel towards the top of your mat until you feel your right calf connect. Right calf resting on the floor. Now push with the heel. Keep the heel grounded and at the same time hug the left knee in, bringing your left knee even wider if you need to, if that helps you get into your hips a little bit more. Breathe. Heaviness through the shoulders. Just let your hands gripping the back of your thigh do all the work. No tension through the shoulders at all. Easier said than done, I know, but that's why I mention it. Bend your right knee, bring your right foot to the floor, release your left. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just relax your hands at your sides. Walk your heels a little closer towards you. Get a sense that your ankles are underneath your knees when your feet are hip distance apart. Turn your palms down once again. Hips heavy. Enough energy in the hands. You can feel the fingers, the palms of the hands completely connected to the earth below. Shoulders heavy. Now inhale. Sweep the hands up towards the ceiling. Keep the arms long. Reach the hands overhead. Let the knuckles land on the floor. And then exhaling, bringing the hands back down to the mat beside your hips. Let's do that for 3 more breaths. Taking those little pauses in between the inhalation and the exhalation before proceeding. Now feel the deep curve in the spine as your hands reach overhead. Let your hips feel really heavy. Feel the pressure there on the back of the hips. Just taking a second there with the hands overhead to really feel how just moving the arm has changed your whole body. Feel yourself completely reconnect to the mat at the end of the exhalation. Let's do 1 more deep breath. Relax. Completely let go. Bring your knees in towards your chest, both knees. Use your hands to just kind of cup the fronts of your knees and gently rock yourself from side to side. Feel the massage going across the lower back from hip to hip. Now bring your knees in closer, and as you sway from side to side, simultaneously bringing the knees in closer, feel the massage reaching a little higher up your back. Continue rocking from side to side and just release the knees slightly, feeling the massage now going down towards the tailbone. Now do that 1 more time, bringing the knees in, rocking from side to side. And then slowly pressing your knees away using the full length of your arms and letting the massage drift down towards your tailbone. Bring your feet to the mat and just gently roll onto your right side and press yourself up. Just slowly rolling onto your right side and then pressing up. Stretch your legs straight out in front. Pull the flesh out from under your sit bones, just to minimize the roll through the lower back. If you still feel like you're leaning back or slouching back, go ahead and reach for a yoga block, a blanket, a rolled up towel, and use that underneath your hips to just give you a little more length through the upper body. Reach for your strap, your tie, your scarf, whatever it is that you're using today to modify this forward fold. Place the strap behind the soles of both feet. Spread your toes. That will help keep the strap in place. Now grip the strap in a spot where the strap is tight. It's not loose at all. There's no slack in the strap. And you feel like you're sitting really tall. So your arms and a little bit of strength from the strap are helping you keep the upper body long, helping you maintain the alignment of your vertebrae. Now look straight ahead at a focal point in the distance. Just find something to look at. A mark on the wall. I have a lovely root chakra symbol that I'm going to focus on. Take a breath. And as you exhale, anchor down through the backs of the legs, the hips. Keep the heels connected to the mat. Another breath. As you exhale now, bend at the elbows and bring yourself forward. Keep your gaze on your focal point ahead, using your hands in the grip on the strap just to bring the shoulders in front of the hips until you feel a stretch into the lower back here. Keep the fronts of the shoulders pulling back so you really open through the collarbones. Take a couple of breaths, and then if you feel like you can go deeper into your forward fold, rather than moving your hands, just simply bend your elbows a little bit more. Focus on the length of your spine, the stretch and sensation in the lower back, rather than the depth of your forward fold. Relax your jaw. Try not to cause any compression in the back of the neck by poking your chin forward. Keep your chin in line so your ears are in line with your shoulders. Relax the jaw. Take one more breath here. And release, bringing yourself up. Now place your strap off to the side. We're not finished with the strap yet, but we're done with it for now. Bend your left knee. Let your left knee fall out to the side. Bring the sole of your left foot to the inside of your right leg. Wherever it happens to connect is fine. You don't need to bring your heel all the way up into your groin. That's not necessary. Now if you feel like you need support for your left knee, left thigh, you can go ahead and use a yoga block, a blanket, and just tuck it under your knee. The important thing here is to feel like the left hip is really soft, that you're not tensing into the hip flexors here. Now turning to center. So my right foot is to my right, my left knee is to my left. I'm kind of sitting kitty corner, right in the center. My heart is over top of my belly button. Shoulders over top of the hips. So the hips turn slightly when the left knee falls out. Align your shoulders over top of your hips. Now bring your hands forward. Use your fingertips. Lean far enough forward, you can just get your fingertips to the floor. Now if you're struggling here, again, you can use a yoga mat, a yoga block, a blanket, a towel to bring the floor closer. The key here is not to slouch to give you more room to reach. Stay tall. Now take a breath. As you exhale, bend at the elbows. Let your elbows go out sideways. Sink into the lower back here. Breathe through the stretch. This is a really good stretch into the lower back. Really good stretch into the lower back. Keep your eyes beyond the edge of your mat and really focus again on the alignment and length in the spine. And press up. Support your left knee as you bring your left leg back to center. Left leg stretched out in front. Now bend the right knee. Right knee bends. Let your right knee fall out to the side. Sole of your right foot coming to the inside of your left leg. Rotate through the shoulders and hips. Rotate through the shoulders and rib cage to align your shoulders over top of your hips, right? You're kind of turned to the corner. Place some support under your right thigh if you need to. Remembering the indicator is whether or not your right hip feels tight or if you're holding on. You need to soften there. Now, tall. And as you exhale, just bring your fingertips to the mat. Remember, long hands really extend through the fingers. Fingertips grazing through the mat to give you the length in the upper body to maintain the alignment of the spine. When you're ready, with your breath out, bend at the elbows. Feeling the heart come closer towards the floor without rounding through the shoulders. Keep the shoulders open, the collarbones open. Coming far enough forward to feel a stretch into the lower back. Nothing more than that. Never, of course, crossing over into the pain threshold. Breathe. And press up. Support your right knee as you bring it back to center. Legs stretched out long. Now sitting tall, inhale, sweep up. And this time as you exhale, bring your hands to your knees, your shins. Look beyond your toes. Take another breath. Exhale. Bow. You want to feel your belly on your thighs here. Feel the support there. Stay long through the spine to really stretch in through the backs of the legs now. We were stretching the hips before in the lower back. Can still feel that. But now, reaching, looking beyond the toes, you really feel a deep stretch in the back of the legs through the hamstrings. And press up. Bend your knees. Feet to the floor in front of you. Balls of the big toes touching, inner heels touching. Let your knees fall out to the side. Soles of the feet come together. Reach for your ankles. Now, you're not pulling on your ankles, but just anchoring your hands here to help you lift and lengthen through the spine. Feel the crown of the head reaching straight up towards the ceiling. Now keep that and adjust the position of your hands. So lean far enough forward now, you can bring your fingertips to the floor like you did a moment ago. Now if you cannot reach the floor here, again, use the blanket trick, use the block under your hips, the blanket under your hips. If you're still having issues, if you're unable to reach to the floor, hold on to your ankles. I just warn you not to pull on your ankles. Now spread your toes on both feet. Balls of the big toes together, heels together, balls of the baby toes together. That's really important. Sitting tall. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, lean forward and bend at the elbows. Now focus on your feet for a moment. Really push with the balls of the baby toes The balls of the big toes might start to pull apart, that's fine. But as you push the outer edges of the feet together, you're going to get a deeper stretch into the inner thigh. The legs and knees will open up just a little bit more. But stay long through the spine. Try not to collapse through the shoulders. Stay tall. It's not a big stretch here, but it does have some intensity. Now lift yourself tall. Support your knees as you bring yourself back to center. Stretch your legs out. Take a breath. Spread your toes. Anchor the backs of your heels, the backs of your calves down into the mat. Bring your hands to your sides, push into the floor, lift yourself really tall. Now keep that. Stay tall. Left hand stays on the mat. As you inhale, right hand sweeps up. And as you exhale, anchor your right heel as you lean over to the left. Think of reaching your right hand up to the corner where the wall meets the ceiling, rather than over to the wall at the left. Get this long stretch through the right side. With your next breath in, bring yourself all the way back to center, right hand to the mat beside your hip. Re-engage now. Use the hands, the strength of your arms, to support the upper body. Remind yourself what it feels like to sit tall, crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Anchor the backs of the legs. Spread your toes so your heels, the backs of your heels are supporting the weight. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Keep all that. Inhale, left arm sweeps up. And as you exhale, reaching over to the right, think of reaching your left hand up to the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. Anchor the left hip. Try not to let all your weight roll into the right side. Keep the hips balanced. Breathe. Inhale, bring yourself all the way back to center. And soften. Oh. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. Hold the backs of your knees. Now using your hands on the backs of your thighs for leverage here. A little support. Inhale, lift yourself tall. Roll your shoulders back. Slide your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Bring your gaze up to the corner. Now exhale, lean back. Let your shoulder blades spread wide, roll onto your tailbone, and tuck your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, lifting up tall. As you inhale, lift up, roll the shoulders back, slide the shoulder blades in, gaze lifts up towards the corner. Exhale, shoulder blades slide wide across the back, chin tucks, rolling onto the back of the hips, the sacrum. 2 more times. Breath in and out. 1 more time, move with your own breath. When you're ready, remember to roll the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Bring yourself up tall. Bring your hands behind you. Stretch your legs out. Now turn your fingers away from you so your thumbs are pointing in. You can already feel the fronts of the shoulders opening. As you inhale, roll your shoulders up and back. Now lean back into your elbows. Let your elbows bend until you feel the stretch deepening into the fronts of the shoulders. And lift your eyes, look up to the corner. Feel the intensity increasing just slightly there as the collarbones open. Just breathe. Let your legs feel heavy. Relax your feet, but make sure that you're resting on the back of your heels, not the edges of your heels. Take one more breath. Wow. Such a good stretch into the shoulders here. As you exhale, just soften. Just let go. Feel the shoulders soften. Come down onto your elbows. So tucking your hands beside your hips, coming down onto one elbow at a time. Use your hands just to hold the outer sides of your hips. Now bend your knees, soles of the feet flat on the floor. I'm looking towards, high on the wall in front of me. That's where I'm looking. So roll your shoulders back. Slide your shoulder blades as much as you can in towards your spine. Now push into the mat with the elbows. Relax your jaw and just let your gaze wander to the ceiling in front of you. Get a sense that your ears are in line with your shoulders. So we've got that. Keep that. And now lengthen one leg. Just coming into modified fish pose. And now lengthen the other leg. Push into the mat with the elbows. Feel the heart lifting, the collarbones open. Spread your toes, anchor the backs of your heels, backs of your legs, and then open up through the rib cage. Relax your jaw. Just be aware if tension crept in there and soften. So that your hips feel heavy. Feel the rib cage doing the lifting here. Now tuck your chin towards your chest. And slowly lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. Reach for your strap. Bend your knees. Feet on the floor. Now place the strap behind your right foot. Both ends of the strap in your right hand. Left hand on your hip. Want to keep the hips level, the left side grounded. So let's stretch the left leg long. Slide your left heel towards the top of the mat. Spread your toes on your left foot. Anchor the back of your left heel. Anchor your left hip with your left hand. Now roll your left shoulder underneath you. Really ground down and connect to the mat with the back of your left arm. Spread your toes on your right foot. That'll help keep your strap in place. Right foot, sole of the right foot's reaching up towards the ceiling. Firm grip on the strap. The strap is taut. There's no slackness in the strap. Now take a breath. And as you exhale, right foot pushes into the strap and just slowly opens right foot out to the right. Now as the right foot goes out to the right, the left hip wants to pull away from the mat. Pause. As you inhale, re-anchor the left side. And as you exhale, open up a little bit more through the right side. Take your time here. It might take a couple of tries for your brain to get the right message for your body to respond. So the goal isn't to open up the right leg. The goal is to open up the right leg and anchor the left hip. You don't want to cheat yourself and let the right leg open and say, wow, look at how far my right leg is open. And meanwhile, your left hip has completely lifted away from the earth. Stay grounded. from your left heel to your left shoulder. Keep a tiny bend in the back of your right knee to keep your right knee safe. And just anchor down. Take one more breath here. Now deepen the bend in the back of your right knee. Use the strap here, use the strength in your right arm to bring the right leg back to center. Now switch feet. So left foot goes in the strap. Both ends of the strap in the left hand. Right hand on your hip. Now slide the right foot towards the top of the mat. Spread your toes on your right foot. Anchor the weight on the back of your heel, back of your calf. Right hand is heavy on your right hip. Now anchor through the back of the right arm by rolling your right shoulder back and tucking your shoulder blade underneath you. Feel the heaviness of your right hand on your hip. A little bit of a bend in the back of your left knee. Take a breath. And as you exhale, left leg begins to open out to the left, but at the same time anchoring, grounding with the right side. Pause for your inhalation. Tell yourself, right side needs to stay heavy. Brain, you need to send the message to my body to get it to respond. And then slowly opening up a little bit more, however far your body will allow. Let your body lead the way. Put aside any thoughts you have of goals. That's for when you're not on your yoga mat. When you're on your yoga mat, you allow your body to unfold. Breathe. Of course. Take one more breath. Deepen the bend in the back of your left knee. Use the strength of your left arm. Bring your left leg back to center. And release. Arms out to the sides in line with your shoulders. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor, and then walk your feet to the edges of your mat. Right foot to the right edge, left foot to the left edge. Spread your toes. Take a breath. And as you exhale, roll onto the outside edge of your right foot, inside edge of your left foot as your knees fall to the right. Head turns to the left. Feel a long, deep stretch into the front of the left hip here. Just using the inside edge of your left foot as your little leverage, your fulcrum, to really stretch and lengthen from your left knee to your armpit. Press into the mat with the edges of your feet. Bring your knees back to center, head to center. Take a breath. And as you exhale, roll onto the outside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right foot as your knees go to the left. Head rolls to the right. Feel the long stretch from your right knee to your right armpit. It's a really good stretch for the front of the hip here. In a moment, we're going to stretch out the back of the hip, and you'll feel a difference. Use the edges of your feet to press into the mat. Bring your legs to center and your head to center. All right, we're going to reach for the strap. Walk your feet in. Get a sense that your ankles are underneath your knees. Now holding your strap, so your hands are essentially shoulder width apart. Just a gentle grip on the strap. And let the strap rest on your thighs, your hips. Just pause right here. Now we're ready to begin. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, just slightly, ever so slightly, so you feel open through the collarbones. Feel the heaviness of your hips. Just connect to the heavy sensation there. Now pressing with your feet into the mat, feel your hips get a little bit lighter. Not lift away, but just lighter. And then relax. Do that again. Push into the mat with the heels. Try not to squeeze the buttocks. Just let the hips feel lighter. Keep your knees pointing up towards the ceiling. And then relax. All right. Now inhale. We're going to sweep the hands up towards the ceiling. Actively pull your hands apart as you bring your strap overhead. Just feel for your knuckles connecting to the mat, and then exhale, coming back. Strap to your thighs. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, hands actively pulling apart, just to strengthen through the arms and shoulders. Reaching overhead, feeling the deep curve in your spine. Exhaling, coming back. Now let's add the hip lift. So inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. And when your wrists are in line with the shoulders, push into the mat with your heels. Feel the hips lift. Lift higher if you can as your hands reach overhead. And then exhaling, returning the hips to the floor. Hands to your hips. Let's do that 2 more times. Breath in. Do not squeeze the buttocks. Use the heels pushing into the mat to help you lift. That's your leverage spot. When you push into the floor, the earth below, it will lift you. It will push back. 1 more. Remembering not to squeeze the buttocks. See if you can lift a little bit higher through the hips by pushing into the heels. And relax. Walk your feet in. Balls of the big toes touching, inner heels touching. Cross your right knee over top of your left. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got, let's say, thick thighs. I have quite thick thighs too. Let's be proud of that. Thick thighs save lives. Just stack knee on top of knee as much as possible. Take a breath. And as you exhale, your right hand reaches for your left knee. Left hand reaches for your right knee. Right hand reaches for your left knee. Just bring your knees in towards you. Reaching for your knees. Now use the left knee to push into the right. Might take a while for your brain to figure that out. Until you feel the stretch into your outer right thigh. Now if this is tricky, if you feel like you're losing your grip on your knees, the trick here is to place the strap behind your thighs. Hold on to your strap. Cross right leg over top of left. Use the strap to bring your knees in. Now spread your toes on both feet. That'll help keep your knees safe. Anchor through the shoulders. Anchor through the hips. Feel that spot on the back of the right hip that never gets stretched. Well, it's getting a stretch today. Keep the strap in place if you need it. Uncross your right leg. Right foot comes to the center in line with your belly button. Left leg crosses over top of the right. Don't be surprised if this feels a lot different than the other side did. Using the strap or using your hands, just gently bring your knees in towards you. Use the right knee now to push into the left, to stretch out the back of the left hip. Keep the hips heavy on the floor and spread your toes to keep your ankles and knees safe. Breathe into that intense stretch on the left hip. Not painful, but it might be uncomfortable. And then release. All right, we are truly finished with the strap now, so place that off to the side. Uncross your legs. Once again, hands reach for your kneecaps. Gently rock yourself from side to side. And as you hug your knees in, feel the massage going up into the lower back. And as you lengthen your arms and rock from side to side, the massage reaches down towards the tailbone and the sacrum. Let's do that again because it just feels good. All right, I got one more move for you. We're going to do some circles now. Really bring your knees in as far as you can and just roll as wide as you can on the back of your hips. Take your time, really feel it. Now change direction. Bring your feet to the floor. Prepare yourself for final relaxation. And so make whatever adjustments you need to. And when you're ready, stretch your legs out long, arms at your sides. Close your eyes. Now zone in your focus to the heavy spot at the back of your skull, where you feel the weight resting there. Let that heaviness there kind of overflow into the eyes. So your eyes are very softly closed. There's no tension around the eyes or the cheeks. Now check in with the jaw. Do the same thing. Let the heaviness at the back of the head and the eyes and cheeks now overflow into the jaw. Relax the tongue. Even softening your ears. Now feel the heaviness wandering down the back of your neck. And with your breath out, release any residual tension that might be hiding there, any tightness in the throat, any knots at the backs of the shoulders. And as you exhale, let your shoulders completely let go and sink into the earth. Your arms feel heavy. Your hands, fingers. Focusing on the rib cage now. fill your rib cage completely with your breath in. And as you exhale, sink into the back of the rib cage and just let yourself melt into the earth. The hips. With your next breath out, let your hips feel incredibly heavy. The thighs. Relax through the fronts of the thigh muscles. Visualize your thigh muscles letting go of your thigh bones. Now do the same thing with your calf muscles. As you exhale, the calf muscles letting go of your shin bones and just spreading into the earth. Feel the weight on the backs of your heels. Feel the softness of the soles of your feet. Feel the sensation of every single toe relaxing. Your whole body lying on the earth, completely trusting the earth to hold you so that you can completely let go. Be with your breath. Know that in this moment, all that's required of you is to be and breathe. I invite you to stay here with your breath, with your body, on your yoga mat for as long as you feel you need to. When you're ready, begin to rise up. Reconnect to your breath. Reconnect to your body by bringing little movements to your fingers and toes, your hands and feet. Bending your knees one at a time, placing your feet on the floor. Then gently roll onto your right side. Stay here for another breath, or longer if you choose. Use your right arm to support your head and neck. And press up. Sit tall. Hands together at the heart. Eyes still softly closed. Take a moment to be grateful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. And may all beings be at peace. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.